Right, this thing, this is the Mackie Onyx 1640 board. 16 channels, 16 full channels. Each channel has its own XLR connection, so it's official 16. I say that because I have a Onyx 1620. Mackie claims it's a 12 channel. It's an 8 channel. It has 8 connectors. It has 4 more for other things. But here's the 1640. And I just want to try to stay focused the best I can with the EQ and what goes on for the beginner and intermediate person, and what goes on with the EQ and what we should do and what we shouldn't do with the EQ. And good practices really is what it is, what I'm pointing out. Okay, here we have, I'm reading this as we go, so nothing's rehearsed, so just, it might make sense and it might not at times, so, like most people, so just listen to what I gotta say. Here's the highs. Okay, this is dB, you can either increase it or decrease it with this one. Here's the high mids they call it, and here they go from 400 to 8,000 hertz. Okay, and here's increase or decrease, dB, increase or decrease. From here to here we have the low mids they call it. Okay, 100 to 2,000. So there's some overlapping between here and here in case you have to work on a couple of different frequencies or tones. Another thing for a frequency is a tone where this is really low. That would be, consider that 500 and below, or really high, you know, say 10,000 hertz thereabouts and above. And here's the very lows cuts. This is just 80 hertz, and you can cut it here. You'll find some low rumblings sometimes. Even though I have a cut, even though I have a channel shelved at 75,000 hertz, you can still hear some rumblings sometimes, and you'll notice that a lot of these are decreased slightly, the first line, and it takes out a lot of noise, distortion, low rumble, distortion, noise, whatever you like to call it. It's not necessarily distortion, it's just when I say distortion, I mean you're not clearly hearing it in the mix. And you want a vocal to cut through the mix. You want every instrument, and a vocal is an instrument, you want it to cut through the mix. And then only to do that, you can make it happen by the EQ. If you hear a voice blending in with other voices and the guitars, and it's not really clear, and it's not cutting through, and you can't really hear the words, you need to work the EQ and get it to cut through the mix. Cutting through is just standing out. You can hear the difference. You can hear what they're saying, just about whatever. You know, you can hear a tone difference. The tone just squeezes up, it becomes a little tighter, and you can actually hear it rather than blending. And you hear some low frequency noise. These I usually keep a little cut. Anyways, now if you hear, you know, you hear a singer, and it sounds like, you know, they have not enough highs. Really what you should do is cut down on some of the lows, the opposite. Just cut back on some of the lows, and just normally I'll set at the first line. It's usually noticeable with the Mackie. I don't know about other brands. I've been using this board for 4 years, and this is the board I like using. For the money, you can't beat it. You're not going to beat a Mackie for the money and the type of venues I'm doing right now. Okay, so I bring it down the first line in the dB. This is the low mids, D2, low mids. First line, just about, I cut it. And then if I don't know what hertz the tone is at that I'm trying to work, which I have an idea, but I'm not an expert, and some experts can pin it out right out to the exact number. You know, that's 2,000 hertz, bring it down. I can't, but I have an idea, and what I do is I'll sweep it. What I mean by sweeping is just take it, the knob, and slowly go left and then right, and you'll find the exact tone when you're doing sweeping. So you don't have to know, just sweep it. Move the knob to the left, and you think you hear it, bring it back, go past it on both sides of it so you know you have it, and then go right in the middle of where you think it is, and then bang, you got it. And then you do your little cut. Well, start with the cut. Usually first line is really all you really need. You can go 2 lines. I've never had to go 3. There might be one on this board, just because I just took it out of the case, but it's because it moved. But I don't think I've ever gone 3 bars cutting. I've gone 2. I certainly go 1 all the time when I need to. Generally, you're better off if you're setting up the board, you're not sure what to go, what the venue sounds like. Every venue is different, okay? And the amount of people in the room is going to have an effect on the sound. The venue, the walls, the makeup of the walls, the material used to build the room, all this is going to have an effect upon the sound. So every venue is different. You're not going to set up a board once and leave it, and every place you go it's going to sound the same. That doesn't happen. There are some people, I've heard of people who run boards who set up a board and then they leave and come back at the end of the show. That's not sound engineering. I don't know what it is, but it's not sound engineering. Sound engineers stay with the board, they tune it, looking for maximal performance of the equipment that they're using, and each room's different, and try to get everybody cut through the mix right down to the last song. And that's how sound engineering is done. You don't set it up and leave, no. Okay, so your best bet is to start here. Your midtones, 1,000 to 1,200 up to 2. Here's the highs. Up middle is 2,000 hertz. This is the plus and minus. Never go, you always want to cut, never increase. dB, never increase. You only increase in mastering on a song when they do mastering. And $20, I have a problem with people who charge $20. They're not doing mastering. That's a whole another thing that takes a professional ear tuned in to listening, and it takes a different type of EQ, parametric, and you really can tune in and get some noises that are involved in the mix out and add a little bit. Not much. They certainly don't overdo it. But in live sound, you never want to increase. You always want to decrease. That's one of the biggest points I wanted to make with the EQ. A lot of times I'll go to a venue or somewhere where they have a board that I have to use. I'll see these all over the place, left and right, just no real rhyme or reason. And it's no big deal. I don't expect musicians to understand a board. They're busy learning guitar. They're busy with their songs, whatever it is. And this is why it's in the best interest of a band to have a sound engineer on hand, to pay a little extra with the sound engineer. You never know who's in the audience. It could be your make or break night. You just don't know. There are more stories than I can count right now about bands who people went to see that were connected with the industry, music industry, and given your ultimate performance at a live show, you want a sound engineer and spend the extra money and have a sound engineer involved. At rehearsal you don't necessarily need one, okay? But on a live show, that extra money, that night could be your break night. You never know. You don't know who's in the audience. That's one thing. Hopefully that helps. This is your shelving. These you usually push down and cut out 75,000 and below. In sound effects you might not wanna, but in music, singing, you don't need it. I don't know. I don't know too many people that leave that up. Okay, so hopefully that makes a little sense just on the EQ. All right, thanks.